Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Major League Baseball coverage. I'm Mega Ruler 31. I'll be covering the main slate for Wednesday, 4/28. There is a two-game early slate, I believe, on both Draftkings and FanDuel, but I think there's some weather issues that one of the games might not play. So keep an eye on that if you're looking to play that. FanDuel has an afternoon slate, I believe, at 4:05 or somewhere around 4 o'clock range. There's some weather issues in some of those games too. So if you're looking to play that, if you can find the 2 or 3 games that are going to play out and I have no weather issues, and stack them and avoid the ones that do have the weather issues. If they don't play or they're short in games, then that can definitely give you some leverage there. But looking at this night 10 game slate, it looks like we have some decent weather. The only concern would potentially be for some rain in St. Louis and Philadelphia. But other than that, we're looking clear and a nice night of baseball. No superstar pitchers here. The top pitcher is going to be Glasnow from Tampa Bay taking on Oakland. Oakland, yes, we've seen them put up some runs, but it's a pitcher's ballpark. Glasnow's had a decent start to the season, 2-1, 205 ERA, 0.75 whip, and a 36.9 K percentage. So I definitely think he's going to be the top option and probably the most popular pitcher out there. Oakland only has a 3.29 implied run total. So the second pitcher, I think that's going to be very popular, and I think I like a little bit more than Glasnow with the matchup and the savings, is going to be Rondon. He is going to be taking on Detroit, which I said in yesterday's video. There's not too much plate discipline there, so there should be some strikeouts. He has a 26.8% K rate. He's 3-0 on the season. I think the opposing pitcher, again, is not that good. So the White Sox should put up some runs and get him the win. He's got a 0.47 ERA, which is very good, and a 0.68 whip on the season. So definitely my favorite there. Next, you have a couple of pitchers that I think you could play in GPP if you wanted to. You can make a case for them, but I'd either go up top or go below them. So talking about Greinke, definitely has a win equity here. Houston will put up runs against Seattle tonight. Seattle's an average team, but he just said at 9.4K, he just seems too high for me. I'd rather pay the 400 more and get Rondon, or save about 1,000 and get another pitcher in a really good slate that I'll get, or spot that I get to in 1 second. Mats is taking on Washington, who has struggled themselves. They're just not the lineup that they were last year, and perhaps maybe they'll start to put it together. It just hasn't happened yet. Soto's out of that lineup, so there's a major bat gone. They do get a lefty here, so they do have some righties to throw against them. In fact, they might throw a whole righty lineup out there besides Schwarber against them, like putting Zimmerman at first base. So we'll have to see there. But I think Mats is good. I think Toronto will put up a bunch of runs and win the game, but I don't know if he'll go far enough or be that impactful to be a pitcher that you want to spend 8-7 on. But Alex Wood is the next guy at 8-3, is definitely one that I like, and I think he'll be the most popular at SP2. If people don't go Glasnow, Rondon, and pick a couple expensive bats from the stack and then go with a cheap 5-man stack or some one-offs to balance out the lineup, I think people are going to pair Glasnow and Rondon, Glasnow, Woods, or Rondon and Woods here. Woods started off the season 2-0. He's got a 0.75 ERA, a 0.42 whip, 25% K rate, and he's almost 50% ground ball pitcher against the Rockies team, who cannot hit the ball outside of Coors, and really nobody kind of scares you in this lineup anymore, besides maybe Story, even in Coors. So I definitely like him there. 8-3. Rockies only have a 3.21 implied run total, so he's definitely a great value there. The next guy in line would be Widener for the Diamondbacks playing against the Padres. I don't understand why he's priced so high. I'm definitely out on him at a 7.9K. But I do like the next guy in line, Unola, 7.8. We like to target the Cubs because of their K rate. So Unola gets the Cubs. Yes, we've seen the Cubs hit a little bit, but It looks like Baez might be out of the lineup. He's a little bit banged up there. This Cubs team has exploded at times, kind of like St. Louis and Oakland. We've seen that at times, but I don't think this is a situation where it will happen. Enola has been decent this season. He's got some K upside, so be able to go, he won't get pulled after like 4 or 5 innings, most likely. So he's one that I like in the mid range here. Kyle Hendricks on the other side. No, I think the Braves offense is really good against him. The next one up is Irving for the Athletics. I think he's okay. He kind of falls in this range here where you've got guys above and below him that he'd like. Actually, no, Irving's like way on there. A page skip, but we'll just cross him right off the list. Cobb is in the middle there though too. Cobb is the one I'm looking at, and Cobb I really like because he is taking on Texas, and Texas is the same situation as playing against Chicago. We like to target a team that is pretty much free swinging. Same reason that I like Rendon against Detroit. There's strikeouts in this lineup. Cobb is a decent pitcher. He's priced well, and I think that he can get some strikeouts. He can get some innings. The Angels will put up some runs. So I think he's like my favorite mid-range pitcher here. So if you want to take the strategy and go Woods and Cobb, go the Alex and Alex combination. And you can get some expensive stacks in here because when we get to bats, you'll see that some of them are highly priced. Looking now further, Marquez, I think, is the lowest that I would go. San Francisco has hit at times, but they've got a very low run total. Marquez is a really good pitcher. I think some of his stats are inflated because he's pitching in Coors, but he is, I would say, the best pitcher on the Colorado staff and not a bad pitcher overall. So I don't mind taking him. I just like Cobb a little bit more, but in GPP, if you want to go as low as you can with pitchers, Jermaine and is not an option really there. Weathers I don't really like in San Diego. Irvin, Fetty, no. Everybody else below him, no. Vasquez has no control. Muse is no. Yes, it's just no. So if you want to try to get expensive bats in, I think the lowest pairing that you could go would be Cobb and Marquez at 7.6 and 7.5, and that should be able to get you some decent bats in. The only YOLO play on the slate that I might consider would be Kremer. Baltimore going up against the Yankees. He's only 5'9", but he probably is only going 4, maybe 5 innings. He is a K pitcher. He's a strikeout pitcher. The Yankees have struggled at times. They did put up 5 runs yesterday. The bats came to life a little bit, but he's a righty. They're primarily righty-heavy lineup. So again, it's a YOLO play. Either he's going to get some strikeouts and make it through a couple innings. I don't see him getting the win, but he might score enough actually to. He's a better option if you're like going with some crazy like YOLO lineup to try to jam in like 2 stacks of like high price bats, because like I said, once I get the bats in a second here, we've got some high price ones, but not recommending it. I'm saying, not even saying it's a viable strategy, but he is the only low price guy that I would consider below Marquez on the slate. Okay, switching to bats. So the Yankees, I think, are going to be very popular going up against Kramer because he hasn't lasted long. Yes, he can get some strikeouts, but he does give up hard contact also. And the price on them on FanDuel is still criminally low. So I think they are going to be a very popular stack. Even on Draftkings, I think Judge is the highest at 5.6. But if you're looking at these guys like Odor, if he's sitting 4th, again, a lefty-righty matchup, he's only 3.5. I know he hit a home run a couple games ago, and he's not the player he once was, but still he can get some hits. Urshela seems still cheap. Torres, Hicks. I mean, once these guys start putting it together, and they have to, the Yankees, the expectations there, they'll throw money at the getting hitting coaches doing whatever they can in there. As the weather gets warmer, they will start hitting the ball. And Not too keen on anybody on the Baltimore side. There are still some cheap bats like DJ Stewart there under 3K at 2.9. Possibly gets a split advantage, but nobody else that I really absolutely love there. I think the Blue Jays will be another popular stack. They have a 5.4 total. They put up a lot of um, runs yesterday. I think people will chase Vlad's 3 home runs. He's priced up to 5.7, which is pretty high. So I think Blue Jay stacks will be very popular, but I think, I'm looking more for like Tellis at 3-4, the lefty righty matchup against Fetty, especially if he's like batting like fourth or fifth in the lineup. Maybe take like a Panic, Grichuk, some of these 4K bats. I even like Jensen. Like Jensen might be my favorite catcher of the whole slate. 2K if he starts, even if he's batting ninth, play him and then play like Biggio at 4-2, which is definitely reasonable. Do like kind of like a wraparound stack there. Save you some money, gets you your catcher, and there's correlation. I think that's a good play. Oakland, Tampa Bay, not interested in any of those bats. Cub bats, I'm not interested in. They're too banged up. Maybe Homer if he's leading off at 2.8. It doesn't have the splits advantage, but it's a cheap second baseman shortstop option potentially there. Braves, I like. Again, they're expensive. Acuna, 6K. Freeman, 5.5. He's probably the best one to take with the split advantage there. Osuna, Albies, 5.1. Maybe some of these guys lower on, like Swanson and Riley, haven't had a great season. Heredia at 3.1 potentially, if you want to take the lower end of the lineup there, who should be putting up some runs against Kyle Hendrick. He's not a horrible pitcher, but he's not a great pitcher. So that's where I'm looking there. I really kind of hope that this St. Louis Philly team plays, not for the Philly side of it, but for the St. Louis side of it. And I'm talking like GPP. I'm not talking your main stack or anything. But Velasquez has really struggled with control. And I think that, and he's reverse splits too. So this puts this righty heavy lineup in play. So Edman and Carlson up top, if they're switch hitters, but Goldsmith, Arenado, DeJong, even if Tyler O'Neill's in, definitely love these St. Louis bats in the GPP. If the game's going to play and the weather is good, I think that they have a chance to be one of those explosive outbreak teams against a reverse splits pitcher who has control issues. Angels against Dunning. Now, Dunning hasn't been that bad. He's an okay pitcher, but still, I like some of these hitters against him. I don't think they're going to be a priority stack. I think they're going to be, we'll call them a loss stack. They have a total under 5, where there's a bunch of teams that have totals above 5 today, in the Yankees and Toronto, in Houston, and in the Padres. So I'll call them a loss stack. So here's a chance to get leverage on a 10-game slate. So I like the stack if you play them. Probably like Ohtani, Trout, Rendon, Walsh. Upton still seems pretty cheap at 3.3. So Suzuki, even though he doesn't have the split advantage, is 3.1 for a catcher. That's not bad. Texas, not interested in. Houston, I think that's going to be another popular stack. Justin Dunn, I think, might be the worst pitcher on the slate. But again, these prices are so high, 5.3, 5.5, 5.4, 5.4. Out of all of them, if you're taking a one-off, I think I like Alvarez the best. The lefty matchup there. Tucker at 4K, he slid down the lineup. So maybe he's one to sprinkle in at only 4K if you do like a mid-range stack on them. Maybe go Bregman down to Tucker 3 through 7 if that's how they line up. Like Brantley is a great hitter, and I know he can hit both sides of the plate, but I just like seeing him at 5.5 and almost the most. Correa is the most expensive at 5.8 today, but I don't know. I liked him better when he was like in the 4K range. So I think I'm out on Houston. Another lost stack I think is going to be Chicago. Mies is a bad pitcher. So I love the lefties here. So that'd be Eaton, Moncada, Grandal. I wouldn't take Lamb. He really hasn't hit much, but Leroy Garcia, if you try to want some cheap exposure for a second base outfielder at 3.2, He's actually got at least one hit in 5 of the last 7 games. So, and being a split hitter, he's got the split advantage there. So, definitely like some White Sox. I think they'll be sneaky if you want to be a little bit different and have somebody with low exposure that are in a good hitting situation against this Detroit pitcher. Padres, I think they let a lot of people down last night. It seemed like they were in a smash spot. The roof is going to be open, and I think I definitely like them against Widener, who gives up some hard contact. So Tatis had been on a streak. His price has come down a little bit to 5.6. Grissom, left-hander up there. Hosmer, Cronenworth he's a really good hitter, and he always seems underpriced at 3.5. He has the splits advantage there. So even if you take like the bottom of this Padres lineup, if you want to stack them with a 5-man someplace else, Cronenworth at 3.5, you have Profar at 3.3 switch hitter, and Carantini, the catcher, a switch hitter at 3.3, and then maybe wrap them around with Tatis, even though you have the pitcher in between. I think that's a viable option too. Final game there, San Francisco and Colorado, like both pitchers there. Like I said, you could even play either one of them in cash or GPP. I think they're both relevant there. Belt at 2.9 always seems too cheap. Dickerson 3.1. So I think I'd take some one-off lefties against Marquez there, but I don't think I would definitely stack San Francisco on this slate. So decent slate. Like I said, only weather issue. There's going to be St. Louis and Philadelphia. I think most people are going to look at Glasnow and Rendon and then pair one of the two of them with Cobb here. But I did say if you want to go down and try to get some of these expensive stacks in, that a Cobb Marquez pairing at 7.6 and 7.5 are not bad. And then, the Yankees are probably going to be chalk just because of their price, playing a Baltimore pitcher that usually doesn't last long. People will probably be chasing Toronto against Fetty, who's not a great pitcher. Then you've got your offensive that are usually decent in the Braves, in the Angels, and the White Sox, all in okay matchups. Houston's in the smash spot, but very expensive. San Diego should be in a smash spot again, too, but again, very expensive. So thanks for watching. So we appreciate you spending the time watching our videos, and we love trying to make these to help you guys out, break down these slates, get started on building your lineups. So if we're helpful, like I said, give us a like, put a comment in there, reach out to me at MegaReeler31 on Twitter. I really enjoyed the interaction that we've got from these videos, your questions, things like that. We're here to help you. And of course, we do offer premium subscriptions to it, FSIDFS.com. We can help you with we'll give you a core for not only for the classic slates, but on DK, we cover all the showdowns. We also cover the tiers. So it's all one flat price. So McKinley 412 and I really enjoy doing this, helping you guys out. We've had a lot of success so far this year, and hopefully it'll continue on. So thanks for watching. Again, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, leave us comments, let us know what's helpful for you, or any questions that you might have, and we will do our best to get back to you. So until next time, MegaRuler31 signing off.